Hey Cal, this is maybe your first camp coming in where you're kind of in that role where you're expected, to make the NHL team. Do you approach training camp any differently this year than maybe you have over the last few?
I mean, not really. I mean, I think every year that came in, kind of regardless of where I was at, maybe realistically on the depth chart, I think I always tried to put my best foot forward and try and gun it, making the NHL team and at least making it as far as I can where people have a really tough decision sending me down. But it's obviously a little bit different coming into this year. But, for me, the mentality stays the same and just want to continue to prove that I can play at this level and be a really positive contributor to the team.
You've now had, a couple of years where you've gotten to work with Jonathan Quick at the NHL level. What's your relationship like with Quick, and what are you looking forward to most about having him as your goalie partner?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice getting to know him a little bit better on a personal level. I mean, he's a really awesome guy. Obviously everybody knows he's a great competitor, so I can't really ask for anybody else to be partnered with. And I think it's going to be a good relationship with each other, kind of pushing us and continuing on from last year. And I think it's a way for both of us to elevate our games.
Thanks, Cal.
Okay, next up is Jim Fox.
Cal, it's going on the same thing that Zach was talking about. And again, as specific as you can get. This is approached two ways by me on the question. What do you stay away from when you're talking to your goaltending partner? And as a partner, what don't you want the other guy to say to you? What areas do you stay away from? Because I assume it can be tricky at times.
Yeah, I mean, I think both Quickie and I know kind of, how to handle another guy. We've obviously played on a number of teams where, you're competing with another guy, but also want to have a relationship. And I think there's some teams where you don't really have much of a relationship with the other goalie. And then I think there's other teams where you have a great relationship with it. But I think, the competition doesn't really change and the competitiveness, but I don't think it's one thing where you're, where in any way you wouldn't be supportive of the other guy, because I think he'd be just as supportive of me too. And I think more so we're kind of using it as a way to, if one guy has success, it pushes the other guy to even have any more success. And I think that can be nothing but positive, kind of for the team and the different outcomes that we want. But I really don't think there's anything that we kind of stay away from. I think it's more so we're just working on having a, positive personal relationship, because this is the first time we've really been together kind of one-on-one to begin the season.
I'll continue on the same path. When you go to the bench during a game, do you want discussed if anyone has discussed something with you, and what don't you want discussed if anyone has something to say to you?
I mean, in the past, I've usually been, as the guys know, I'm pretty quiet when I come to the bench. I've started to open up a little bit more, kind of as a way to let myself relax. I just didn't, every time I went to the bench, I didn't want it to be a time where my mind can wander. I wanted to continue to stay locked in, but more so now when I come to the bench, if there's kind of a lighthearted moment, we might crack a quick smile or a quick joke or something like that with Quickie or the other guy. But I mostly try and stay a little bit locked in. I kind of have a routine where I just get a little sip of water, wait for the guy to clean the crease and go back. So I'm not really a guy that has a ton of dialogue on the bench, unless there's a power play or something specifically coming up where I got to ask somebody about something or a coach has a direction for me. But I'm definitely not a big chatterbox when I come back to the bench.
Much appreciated. Thanks.
Okay, we're going to go to Daryl Evans.
Hey, Cal. How you doing?
Hey, Daryl.
Quick question. Goaltending might have the biggest challenges after an extended layoff like you guys have had. From your standpoint, what drills are the best suited for you to get back to game speed? And what parts of your game are the hardest ones to work on when you've been off for that long?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think, to kind of go on to it, I think, we scrimmaged the first days of camp, and I would say kind of, if you ask any of the goalies, that was a big challenge. just because a lot of us, haven't seen game situations at all. If anything, it's kind of a half-hearted scrimmage in the summer. And I think that was kind of our first time seeing full speed, having to deal with traffic. And, I was telling Quickie, obviously, after those, it felt like, the game was 10 on 10 and there was multiple people out there. I couldn't keep track of everybody. And just kind of as that went on, things got a little bit easier, but kind of any game situation that we can continue to work on with traffic in front of the net, getting used to looking around guys, I think is probably going to be the biggest thing. And it's more so, I think, just getting back into the mentality and having the right feeling, going into the games. I think it's going to be a challenge, for every guy in the league, these first couple of games getting back acclimated to the pace and feeling good again. But I think it's more so just a process day by day, really working hard on just little things. Like I said, looking through traffic to get you ready. And once you do it, having the confidence to know that you can play at this level and kind of let the rest fall.
And I'm sure the drills have evolved each day as you've gone through camp. Not having the exhibition games, is that a little bit of a concern for you, having to go right in and start for real?
I think it's one of the things that it'd be nice to obviously have an exhibition game with not as much pressure to kind of get your feet wet and get some confidence. But, I don't think you really have the luxury of making it a concern because there's really just nothing you can do about it. So it's more so kind of, I think, working with Billy, getting, really good practice reps in, and just making sure the confidence is there when the first game rolls around. Because, like I said, it's, you're probably not going to be feeling as good for the first game as you did in years past when you had those exhibition games under you. But at the same time, there's no excuse for putting a bad foot forward. So it's more so I think these practices and these scrimmages just have that much more, there's that much more importance to getting quality reps in each day.
Thanks a lot, Cal. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is John Hoven.
Hey, Cal. First off, congratulations on finishing up your schooling there and getting your degree during the time off. That was great to see.
Appreciate it.
Two questions for you. First one is just, there's been a lot of change. Obviously, Bill Ranford's still around, but with Dusty leaving and Matt Millard coming in, can you just talk about maybe what you were able to experience as you reflect on, last year and maybe how he might have helped you or even just the relationship the two of you guys have built?
Yeah, I mean, Matt's been great. I think he's come in right away. Like I've said in the past, super enthusiastic. Really has a positive outlook on goaltending and every day and coming to the rink and having fun. And that was kind of something similar to Dusty, where he made it fun, coming to the rink. And I think at the same time too, it was his first year in pro hockey. And so I think he's even evolved to understand the position at this level even more. And for him, I think it's just like a young goalie building up. Every single day is better. And I think even coming back to this year, I mean, he's picking up on things that, he's probably evolved, from picking up from last year. And I think he's also at the same time, he takes a lot of pride in understanding each individual goalie really well. And I think just more reps and more time and experience kind of seeing us play he's been able to even be more of a resource. So he's been fantastic so far.
All right, Cal. So give us a fun story about when you were off. Besides maybe Alex Iafallo sleeping in your driveway, what else happened during the last 8 or 9 months?
I would say it was a pretty busy 8 or 9 months. I got a dog actually the day that Al left my house. I drove up to get my dog, so it was a little bit kind of a crazy day there. Obviously went to school, that you guys know, and finished my degree and, bought a house. So it was kind of a busy summer for me in that regard, but I think I checked a lot of boxes off the, kind of the list of things that I wanted to do, especially getting the degree. And, I didn't want to sit around the house all day and, have one day lap into the next and get done with this and feel like I didn't utilize any of this time away from hockey that you just really don't get during a normal year. So I feel like I accomplished a lot, and at the same time got myself really prepared for this season. So it was a productive summer for me, but it just made me that much more itchy to get this one going.
All right, Cal, let's break some news. What's the name of the dog?
Theo. not really named after anybody in particular. I really like the name, and Jose Theodore was one of my favorite goalies growing up. I think it's, Theodore Roosevelt. It's just a cool name, and he's fitting it in well, and working hard to be a good Cali dog now.
Thanks, Cal.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go to Carlin Baith.
Hi, Cal. I know you have talked about going back to school and finishing your degree, but what was it that prompted you to do that, and how was it going back this time around? What did your classes look like? What was your schedule kind of like, and what did it take to get it all done?
Yeah, it was actually kind of something I just kind of popped into my head on a whim. Once we kind of generally had a schedule when the playoffs were going to be this summer, and when next season potentially would start, it was kind of a murky time, and I was a little bit afraid there was going to be maybe some overlap at the end if we were forced to kind of come in at the beginning of November, because that's when my final exams were. But I figured it was just kind of best to just roll with it. I talked to Blakey and asked if it was okay if I did that, and he was totally fine with it. And so I just kind of went in with it. It was try and get much classes as I could in, and worked with the people there, and they were able to kind of tailor a schedule for me where I was taking all these classes and able to get my major done and get enough credits to graduate. So it was a grind. Had to rent a house there. I was there with another pro that was finishing up some classes too. So we had a good thing, but I mean, it was like I was a normal student. I was, going to classes, going to work out, doing some skates, and then going back home. So it was definitely like being back in school. But it was a lot of fun. I'm just really glad that I obviously utilized that time really well and made the most of the experience. And it was probably something that, I wouldn't have been able to get done until I was all done playing hockey. So it's a huge relief, I think, to both me and my parents that finally could get it done now.
That's incredible. Congrats on that. And thanks. That was my only question.
Thank you.
All right, and then we're going to finish it up here with Jim Fox.
Cal, when you graduate from such a fine academic institution as Notre Dame, what is the daily workload to handle the classes you took this summer? Hours, time, Zoom, in class, plus, homework and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. I think, Notre Dame was one of the schools that really wanted to push in-person learning. So we were actually physically going into classes and wearing masks. And, so I kind of got used to all the protocols that we're kind of dealing with here when I was at school. And so I was used to that. But, I mean, I would, for me, it was my routine was wake up. I had a few morning classes. I had a quick break where I would go into the rink and work out for about an hour and a half, and then get back and go to class for about 3 more hours. And then after that, try and skate. And then sometimes I would have to skate before my first class. So we'd kind of do some early morning skates. And then after that, I would take a little bit of time off, but, I usually had probably around 2 hours of, homework every night, just kind of on a normal night. And that was one of the challenging things, was just kind of getting my head back into doing that consistent homework and, being dialed into the classes. But I mean, I think I kind of looked at it as a way to keep my mind sharp, going into the season, not letting, any of my mentality kind of go away, and was continuing to get tested. And so it was, like I said, awesome experience. I'm just super glad I did it. And I think it kind of lifts a weight off my shoulders and, is one accomplishment I can at least tuck away before starting the season.
Well, congratulations. It's a great example to kids out there. Congratulations.
Thank you.